HSBC has been in India for more than 150 years, unbroken, continuing existence, which arguably makes us one of the oldest financial services companies in the country. And post 1991, when the economy opened up, I think we have come in and established ourselves in pretty much every aspect of the financial services business, starting with the investment bank, as in the securities broking, the investment banking side, corporate finance, asset management in 2003, insurance in 2008-9. So we are unique in that. I don't think there's a single other foreign institution which covers the whole gamut. So the most important differentiator, I would say, and I'm speaking about foreign strategic partners in the country and HSBC, is that this is a country that we understand really well. And it wasn't a opportunistic move to set up any of these businesses, but in the first instance itself, it has always been a long-term play. Flash forward to the time that I took over this business in 2016, it was a situation where the pure play, 100% foreign-owned entities were leaving the country for various reasons, which are best known to them. But obviously, the ride may not have been smooth, otherwise, why would anyone leave? And I think it is our understanding of this marketplace which made sure that we were here. And we continued to grow our business, our standalone business, which is a profitable business, albeit it lacked size and scale, but it has always been a profitable business. I think it's quite clear that in this business of asset management, perhaps more than most other financial services business, scale and size is important. And it's true all over the world. If you see the market share of the top 5, the top 10 players, it is disproportionately large. Same thing applies in India. On the bottom line, in terms of pure P&L as opposed to AUM, perhaps it can become even more stark. So I think it is true for everyone. The ambition is to achieve a leadership position, and leadership is a relative term. But let's say it's a top 5 or a top 10 in a crowded marketplace of 40, 45. And that's a journey that we were also in, but conscious of the fact that the positioning and the standing that we had was not appropriate for us, for an HSBC in this marketplace. Typically, in most marketplaces, we aspire for leadership, and usually we get over there. And there are 2 ways of doing this. One, continue doing what you have to do organically. And the truth is, if there are 45 players, the fair share for everyone can be 2%, 2.5%. But as I mentioned, this is a disproportionate industry where the top 5 and top 10 take a significant share. And therefore, the other alternative then is to explore what other opportunities can come in inorganically. And therefore, when we had the opportunity to review this particular transaction of L&T Investment Management, it struck us as being a very good fit for us. And the reasons for that, and to answer your question in terms of the contours of the deal, it's fairly straightforward. It's an acquisition of that entity which is proposed. I just want to clarify at this point of time, we have signed an agreement, we have announced the deal. It'll take a period of time to get all the regulatory approvals, and it is only subject to regulatory approvals coming in that we can close the deal, which will be sometime, hopefully, during the course of this year. So that's the path that we're in. Why was this attractive for us? As I said, the nature of the business and the industry scale and size, if we were at 12,500 to 13,000 crores, they were between 75 to 80,000 crores. So definitely a big step up. Other things being equal, if we were to combine the two, we jump to rank 12 from rank 21 or thereabout where we were, we jump up the ladder immediately. So scale and size is achieved, and more importantly, puts us within touching position of the top 10. Second, India is a huge market, and as our own businesses, our presence is fairly limited, including the number of distribution partners, and that's the strength which L&T had. I think they have more than 50,000 distribution partners, and for us to get into those partnerships, and including through your platform, for instance, is immediately of value. Building those relationships is feasible. My colleagues are very, very seasoned, experienced with long-standing relationships. But institutional relationships are equally important. And to achieve that by virtue of this transaction was another tick in the box. Second, or rather third, we were in 9 geographic locations. And the truth is, in terms of distribution, is just spreading, widening around the country. And the future growth in percentage terms, at least, is clearly going to come in from those locations. L&T has close to about 62 offices in 35 locations and growing. And more importantly, have the experience of managing this kind of network, which will immediately be added to us. Fourth, and in no sequential order, but they have more than 29, I say more than because there are some closed-ended funds as well, 29 open-ended funds, of which about 16 are common, 13 are unique. So that basket of 13 unique funds come to us immediately. We don't have an arbitrage fund currently or a balance advantage fund, and subject to regulatory approval, our basket immediately widens to pretty much meet most of the SEBI categorization, both on the equity side as well as the fixed income side. They have 2 passive funds, which we currently don't have. So the passive capability also comes in. So the product structure comes in very well to this transaction. And finally, in terms of investors, we all agree you are also in that business. Getting in more investors is perhaps the most difficult aspect. Though growing, and we've seen the number of folios, what's taken place in the country. Our share in terms of unique number of customers is obviously much smaller as opposed to what L&T brings to the table. So pretty much from the customer perspective, the sales perspective, the distribution perspective, and the AUM, it helped us achieve what is our objective of really getting a strong, stable business. And our ambition to continue to grow it still remains. We reach here with this particular transaction, but I think our ambitions are even bigger. Yeah. So as I mentioned, the nature of the business is there's a great deal of concentration around the world in terms of a top 5 position, which is where we aspire for. We are deeply respectful and recognize it's a very, very competitive industry, and just stating an ambition in terms of numbers is perhaps an outcome. What we aspire to do with this enabling infrastructure and platform that we're getting together is to make sure that we are able to deliver consistency or in terms of manufacturing of investment products, widening the scope of product capabilities through bringing in significant number of offshore funds. For instance, last year, we launched our climate change fund. Specifically, it was a very specific thematic. So the way we're looking at this even globally is that there are going to be significant super cycles of addressing fundamental issues which manifests itself in investment opportunities. So while you're doing good or addressing perhaps certain critical issues, be it the environment in terms of climate change or healthcare, and things will keep evolving, where those particular issues are really global issues. It's going to affect us in India as much as it will affect the US and it'll affect any other market. And therefore, how do you construct an investment portfolio with opportunities globally, which is where the strength of an HSBC comes in. So our objective as our statement and objective is of opening up a world of opportunities. And in our case, in terms of our business, investment opportunities is what we would like to bring in this particular transaction, what this will provide to us. So consistency of investment performance in terms of core solutions, capitalization, duration, credit will obviously always be the core. But the differentiator which we hope to bring in is funds from offshore in a marketplace which is clearly growing. Perhaps in the first instance, what was not stated but is the most obvious is that India, as one of the fastest growing economies in the world, is definitely going to create one of the biggest wealth opportunities anywhere. And therefore, as HSBC, with our pivot to Asia and leadership ambitions in Asia on wealth, which means wealth distribution and manufacturing in terms of asset management, we have stated this very clearly, not just in India. We want to aspire for leadership in this part of the world, of which India clearly is a key part, and that opportunity which exists for all of us, everyone who's watching this, makes it a very, very exciting marketplace to be in. So our ambition clearly is leadership in the wealth business in India. Thank you for this opportunity in reaching out to your audience, and by everything which I've seen, is growing by the day of your partners, and therefore this is a great opportunity for us in communicating our message, and more importantly, to continue to grow with your partners, and that's what we would be very, very keen to do as well.
Definitely.
So thank you very much for this opportunity.